Hi, I'm Lance Arnold, and I am the Vice President of Arnold Family Funeral Services, Hillside Chapel.
And I am Dr. LaKeith Kenebrew, Senior Pastor of the Hillside Tabernacle City of Faith Church. And we are in a wonderful community partnership and collaboration. Arnold Family Funeral Services and Hillside Tabernacle Church, we have created a partnership with the community in mind and built upon the idea of helping each other advance those that we serve.
A little bit how that got started was I'd approached Pastor Kenebrew. We were in the process of looking into expanding our business. Over the past, we've been in business for 3 years now, and we needed larger facilities to facilitate certain things. And when I approached him about it, Pastor didn't hesitate. He was very open and forward-minded thinking. We came out and looked at the space and said, okay, well, how can the church function in this capacity, and how can Arnold's office function in this capacity? And Pastor has a kind of a comic, comedic way of saying it, but you know, the office had paper, the funeral home has paper. The church did funerals, the funeral home has funerals. You know, things of that nature. You know, there's cars on the parking lot, the funeral home has cars on the parking lot. And when you really start to think about it, a funeral home is a ministry.
Yes.
We live in a society where sometimes, especially in California, corporations have taken the ministry aspect of it away. But a funeral home, most people that work in a funeral home are very church grounded, and it is a ministry, and it takes that in order to deal with, because people ask me how do you deal with death on a day-to-day basis. It's a ministry. It's something you seek God about. It's not just a business in that aspect. So when you combine the church with the funeral home, they go hand in hand in certain ways.
Right, absolutely. And being one that has worked in the funeral industry myself, as well as pastoring, having the opportunity to serve and service people, that's one of their greatest hours of need. It's a time of comfort. It's a time of strengthening. And even if you take the pastoral aspect away, it's a time when most people just need a friend. And so it's a beautiful collaboration. Someone asked me, they said, well, why would you do such a thing? Right down the street from us, we have the KFC, Taco Bell. One entity doesn't absorb the other, but at the same time, because they are both in the same industry as such, they're able to collaborate. And I believe that this was just one of those things where you can put together a covenant partnership and marriage, where we can utilize their strengths and they can utilize our strengths. We can cover their weaknesses and they can cover our weaknesses, and we can together be a blessing to the community. And so it was a match made in heaven, I believe, and we are here for a long time to service this community.
Right. It's also, like you said, with a marriage, it's bending, not breaking, finding our little niches. And as we've discussed in some meetings, we're the blueprint of something like this. This is very foreign to a lot of people. To a lot of people, it makes 100% sense. To some, it doesn't until they actually see it into its fruition. So we're just trying to make sure we make the blueprint correct, and make the textbook for it, because we believe not just in our two business entities, but especially in Pasadena in particular, and something that's happening across the nation. There's a lot of gentrification happening in our neighborhoods. African Americans are moving to the suburbs, or they're moving to the valley, or things like that. And the businesses that have been servicing them, whether it be funeral, pharmacies, barbershops, things like that, black businesses are going to have to look at different ways of collaborating with other entities. Churches are on the forefront of that. Everybody's church talks about their heyday in the 80s and 90s when the church was full. For whatever reason, that has changed now, and a big portion has to do with a community that has slowly started to shrink. Within that, we know a church is a business. At the end of the day, you got people that are woke and all that kind of stuff in one tip, but the church is a business. It's got a light bill, a gas bill, all those types of things. They can't say, you know, Jesus paid it all. Edison doesn't care about that statement. Right. So they have to look at ways in order to make up for that loss of those congregants that used to pay tithes and offering and, you know, help things to help the community. So we're just trying to, we know it's a little pressure on us, but we're trying our best to make the best model so that some, maybe not just churches, but other entities can say, hey, we've got the space, let's collaborate together and see how we can work. The problem is we have to get off of our high horses. Pastor is the senior pastor of Hillside Tabernacle Church. I'm the vice president of our funeral home. We operate in our own capacity, and we know our leaderships in those capacities, but we work together in it. That's something other communities have been doing for years.
Right. And I believe that you said something very key, and that is that you're the vice president of Arnold Family Funeral Services. I'm the senior pastor of Hillside Tabernacle. And it's very important that we understand that there's a call throughout our nation for interdependency, not necessarily codependent, but interdependent. And that's when you can celebrate who another person is. It doesn't take anything away from you to celebrate who another person is and to operate together. As Minister Lance said a moment ago, there are so many entities that they've maximized this. Many businesses, they've maximized this. I'm a former employee of the airline industry, and we watched it with Delta and Northwest. We watched it with US Air and American, two large companies, but they came together to make one large company. And I think that more than anything, we're so focused on, I want to do it independently or be independent of someone, that we don't understand interdependence. And that's the celebration of someone else's gifts, talents, and abilities without it taking anything from him,
Right.
and it's not taking anything from me. And we are excited about Black Pages right now being a part of that same interdependent reality.
And it's all about working together. And as Black businesses, if you listen to people of my father's generation, they talk about how Pasadena used to be more community-based and things like that. And we know most churches' slogans, we're a part of the community. Our slogan is our family serving your family. Your family is a part of the community. We'd like to be a part of the community. Within that, you partnership up with the church and doing community things. We've got some things planned later on in the year that we're going to collaborate on. A few things we did, one or two things last year. But it's about collaborating and putting things together. We're a lot stronger together than we are separated.
I like that. We're better together.
We're better together.
Together we stand. Divided we'll fall.
Exactly.